So how did I reverse type 2 diabetes? Before I get too far in the years here, I wanted to talk to you guys about it to inspire you guys that it's possible. And I was like trying to figure out, well, what do I talk about today to help people out? Duh, Einstein, tell them your story. So this is kind of my rough story that I hope inspires you to know that it is possible. Right? I know a lot of you guys are sitting on the fence like, oh my God, do I do this? Do I not do this? I got to say this is for entertainment purposes only. I can't say that I don't prescribe anything. If you are type 2 diabetic, you should, or diabetic, or whatever else, you should consult with your doctor. But here's my story. Reversing type 2 diabetes, now that I'm over a year and a half into it, it seems like everything's so complicated, but it doesn't really have to be. It was for me, and that's why I want to uncomplicate it for you today. So, the very first thing that I did as far as diet and exercise was I read a book from a guy named Tim Ferriss, the 4 Hour Body. I think it's called the 4 Hour Body from Tim Ferriss. And basically, it's this thing called the 30-30-30, triple 30. So it's 30 grams of protein upon 30 minutes of within 30 minutes of waking up. So I basically woke up. I'd go to the kitchen, whip myself up 30 grams of protein, a smoothie, which by the way was almond milk, which I found out was giving me problems, gas and bloatingness, and it was the guar gum, the gums inside there that I figured out later. So now I've replaced that with coconut cream, full fat or full fat coconut milk without any gums. Good luck trying to find it. It's very difficult. The internet's your best bit, but as far as I used a plant protein based pea protein for my smoothies as well. And that also I found was giving gas and bloating until I switched over to an animal based clean protein from grass fed beef that actually eliminated that. So with the elimination of the guar gums, the almond milk, unsweetened almond milk, by the way, and unsweetened coconut milk, not only am I not getting bloated, but also migraines. I found out that I'm possibly allergic to nuts. So yeah, did that. So yeah, I'd wake up within 30 minutes, and one of these is very convenient because it's very quick to make. Instead of eating 6 eggs, scrambled eggs or something like that, right? It's a lot more convenient. So the other thing I did within that 30 minutes, no longer than 30 minutes. So say I got up at 5:30 in the morning. You don't have to get up that early. But what I would do is get up about 5:30 before work, and I would by 6 o'clock I would already have my smoothie down, and then I would do laps around the front of my house because I have a kid. I can't go too far. I didn't have a treadmill back then, but treadmill would be way better for most people too, especially if you live in hot country or where it's raining or it's ice cold. That way there's no excuses and you can get a regimented thing going on so you don't miss out. So yeah, I would do 30 minutes, and so right upon 6:30 I'd be done with my 30-minute walk, and that's like one of the main bases of how I reverse type 2 diabetes, knowing now about intermittent fasting and doing it a little bit more hardcore, more strategic. I've been intermittent fasting pretty much for the past 15 years, I would say, kind of off and on. But knowing now the power of it, I would have implemented that in the beginning. But basically, just to simplify, guys, that's all I really did to lose weight. Of course, it was once a day. If you guys want to do it optimal, do it twice a day, like when you get home. If you really want it supreme, the platinum, 3 times a day, 30 minutes a day. You don't have to eat 30 grams of protein before you walk. That's just the first thing in the morning. And I guess what the idea is that it gives your body something to feed on, and literally will start melting fat away. I don't know the science of the process, but it basically, instead of going on an empty stomach, it's supposed to work. There's people like Jason Fung saying that intermittent fasting is the perfect way to burn fat. That does as well, but I didn't do that, right? I think the reason why I wanted to share this with you guys today is that I know a lot of you guys probably suffer from hunger, and you don't want to intermittent fast. And if you don't want to, you don't really have to. So that's what I did. I would do intermittent fasting in a heartbeat. I'm going to keep drinking this before it melts. It is a hot day today. So yeah, so if I could do it again, I would probably eat at like I do now from 5 p.m. I would stop eating the night before, and then I'd wait all the way till 10 a.m., which I do now, and then have myself, my go-to meal is basically 4 eggs, a half a pound of beef. And guys, it depends on your weight, whether you're female, male, right? I'm male. I can't speak for females. I don't know if this would work for you, but the proportions basically. But try out different variations to see. You don't want to be overstuffed, but you definitely want to get at least 30 grams of protein in you during that period, right? And I can't suggest because I don't know what weight you're at. I don't know which activity level you're at, but if you're sitting in an office, you probably want to keep it at 30. If you're a highly active person like myself, I own a construction business. I'm a roofing contractor, so I'm burning calories like nobody's business, right? I carry sometimes 100 pounds on my shoulder, and I'm climbing up a 2-story ladder, doing this repetitiously, throughout the day. And yeah, excuse me, I expend a lot of energy. So you have to play with that. And that's why I always say, guys, a continuous glucose monitor will tell you where your sugars are at, no matter what you're going to do for your first thing in the morning. When you break your fast, you'll know what your fasting blood sugars are and what your blood sugars are going to be out throughout the day. And even more important, what your blood sugars are throughout the entire night while you're sleeping. So a continuous glucose monitor is the most powerful thing you can do. I talked about what did I do? What was my first thing I did in the morning that I could recommend to people before I forget, right? And that's it, the 30-30-30, or go, which let's recap, that's 30 grams of protein within 30 minutes of waking up, followed by 30 minutes of light cardio. I think I didn't explain that too. It doesn't mean running. You don't have to really run. You're just going to walk at the speed that you can still have a conversation. So like a little bit faster than a brisk walk if you can. We'll do that for 30 minutes, right? Or the second route is to do intermittent fasting, try 5 stop eating at 5, 6, basically a 16-hour window of no eating and an 8-hour window of eating. And the beauty of this, guys, is that it's free, right? You can also try like a 12-hour, a 14-hour, a 16-hour. See what works for you. But seriously, the biggest thing that I did before I even started all of that was getting a continuous glucose monitor to see where my levels are at. And if you're having trouble and you want to be able to stay focused, right, and you want to be inspired, you want to build a healthy habit and be able to keep doing it and see progress. When you see your blood sugar starting to go down, that's going to make you excited and make you happy. The other side byproduct of all this is you're going to start to lose weight. I lost like 50 pounds, right? Or just under 50 pounds. I call it 50 just to make it even numbers, right? I don't want to get 48 point something pounds, whatever. But yeah, you're going to start melting that fat, which is going to help with your glucose level, your insulin resistance, build insulin sensitivity again, and help you to reverse type 2 diabetes, if I don't get in trouble for saying that. But guys, that's what I did. Those are the two big ones. I mean, I can probably, the smoothie is the easiest one to talk about. The continuous glucose monitor, that's probably like an hour's long of explanation, and I'm sure a lot of people have questions. If you've made it this far, message me, comment, and let me know if you want me to do a whole teardown on the continuous glucose monitor for you. So, but yeah, I highly suggest it because that's what's going to get you pumped, right? When you start losing weight, your blood sugars start normalizing, your energy level is going to be better. You're going to start feeling better. You're going to start looking better. And I predict, guys, if you just did this one thing that I say, and also cut out, processed foods, sugars and carbs and stuff like that, at least lower them down. If you eliminated them, if you lowered them down, you're going to see progress. But if you eliminated sugar, carbohydrates, processed foods, and things like that, ate healthy, I'm gonna go out here and guesstimate, because when I first started out, I didn't have a continuous glucose monitor, so I don't know what the gap is of how fast, and everybody's bodies are different. But what I want to predict here is probably within the first week to 2 weeks, you are literally going to see a difference. If you stop carbs, stop eating sugar, do the 30-30, or start doing intermittent fasting, keeping an eye on your blood sugars, it's going to blow your mind. And that's going to, That's going to take out the difficulty and the guesswork out of all this and make you a believer to go, wow. And then you're not going to want to stop, because that's the problem, right? Most of these low calorie diets, you're starving. You don't have to do a low calorie count and low calorie and all that. It's important where your calories come from. And I know we're going into a whole new section here, and we'll get to that in the future. But guys, this is what's going to keep you from falling off the wagon and failing. Once you start seeing that progress, it's going to blow your freaking mind. So I hope the best for you guys. I hope this stuff helps. Please let me know how I'm doing for you. And I'll see you guys on the next video.